I swear this team's just gonna like stress me out forever. Like I'm just like done at this point. Like I'm just going into the games now and just not knowing what to expect because we're either gonna lose or we're either gonna win, and it's gonna be a crazy game. But Saturday was a really good game. They were playing really, really well. Reece Williams obviously scored. So happy for him. He's doing absolutely amazing. And I'm just so glad that he's getting out there and showing who he is. Obviously, being a Liverpool Academy boy, people obviously know who he is. But it's great to see him getting on the score sheet, playing for a great team. And he played fantastic. They all did. Like, they all seem to be connecting with each other more. We're getting a lot. I think there's only one injury now we've got, and he's due back in January. So everyone's like back from injury. The only bad thing that came from that game is Stu Moore did go down with an injury. We think it might be his hip again. So we don't know if he's out for the season yet. Again, I hope not, because he's been fantastic this season and he deserves everything that he's getting. Then they scored, which I was just like, oh, this is not what we need. Everyone else was winning around us, and it felt like if we don't win here, maybe it's over. Yeah. But it was a bit like, right, okay, let's just pick ourselves up. We go again. Harry made some incredible saves to say he's had very, very, very few games in goal. Like, cup games is probably the most he's done for us. So for him to come on and do 2 fantastic saves to keep them out from scoring, huge credit to Harry. Amazing. And if he does get the chance to play whilst he's injured, then fair play to him, because he is an incredible goalkeeper. And then obviously it was a bit like, it was getting near the end, and I was a bit like, right, okay, we'll settle for a draw if we have to. Like, it's not the end of the world. A point's a point. These points are going to add up. People around us are going to like lose games, all that kind of stuff. And then Harvey McAdam just scored in the 97th minute, and I have never, ever seen limbs like that before. It felt like Morecambe. Like, that was just us. Like, a last-minute winner, like literally the last dying seconds. And we scored and we won. And I think it was just such a huge sigh of relief, because it was like, right, we've done it. Like, we've done back-to-back wins now in the cup, in the league. Like, we are finally feeling like we're on our way. And in Derek in the post interview as well said, but we're only 5 points off 15th. Like, it's not the be-all and end-all at the minute, even though it does feel like it sometimes. A couple of wins and we're straight back up the league. Like, it's not... I don't think it's anything to worry about right now on the pitch. I think it's more off the pitch. It's still an issue. The Shrimps Trust keep reaching out to him. He's not giving any updates. He's not replying to any emails. He's not speaking to anyone at the club. He's not communicating with any of the media. It just feels like he's not bothered in the slightest to sell this club. It's now been over 2 years, and we've not had one positive person that actually wants to buy the club. So the fans have taken it into their own hands this weekend and are doing a protest against Port Vale. I just want to give huge credit to the Port Vale fans, because since it's been put out on social media, they have said that they are joining in with the protest on Saturday, which is incredible from them, because they've obviously, I think they did it with Reading as well when he played Reading. They supported Reading. I just have to give huge credit to Port Vale fans, because I just know they will come in numbers and they will support every single one of us. So I think we're planning to release some balloons at the start of the game, and then on the 26th minute, we're going to turn our backs to the pitch for 2 minutes to prove, like, I don't know what we're trying to do, but we're trying to do something that is not going to damage the club, what is getting it out there. And it seems to be working, because they've had a lot of media come and want to speak to the fans and stuff. So I think getting it out there against Port Vale, top of the league, like, they've got our ex-goalkeeper who absolutely loves us. He literally quoted today the protest thing. He quoted it and said he'll be right there behind us. Like, it's one of them where you know that everyone who's played for the club, or like Port Vale fans have seen other clubs suffer, know what it's like. So I think getting this process done on Saturday is huge for us, and I hope somehow it gets out there and people see it, because it just feels like not just us, Reading, Swindon, it just feels like no one really knows what's going on behind the scenes of these clubs. It's only like the fans that really know. So I think we need to get it out there. We need to get him talking, because the fact that he's giving no one, like not even speaking to the board, like I just think it's ridiculous what he's doing. Like he's killing a club. And
I don't understand why is he doing this? Like,
because I think realistically, and I know this sounds awful, but I think he wants us to go into administration because he has so much debt.
Yeah.
Because if he sells his club, he would still have to pay that debt off, because he's accumulated so much debt. It's just like he doesn't want to sell, and it's like it's annoying because we as fans love this club and we'll love this club forever, but it's just like he doesn't talk to anyone. Like, how are we meant to sell this club if he's not talking to anyone? It just frustrates all of us, because I just don't like owners that come in and do this stuff and try and ruin a club that clearly is a family, it's a community, it's everyone's around each other. Like, you all know that Liam's been working with the club at the minute and doing stuff, and everyone's always asking him and going up to him, asking him about like the work and stuff. So it's very much a family club, and it's just annoying that this one person is ruining it.
Like, it's an absolute privilege to own a football club, and Jason Whittingham is an unfit, unproper, and fucking shy owner. He needs to do the right thing and fuck off. It's not fair on them fans that are still turning up for that club week in, week out. And they're doing a respectful protest. And if I'm right in saying, Jen, he turned down an offer in the summer to sell the club. So, like, why? Like, even if you say, you know what, you can buy the club, use that money to frigging pay off the debt. Like, the way, if he was to sell the club, like, he's not obligated to pay that debt anymore. The debt is assumed by the new owner. So if that is the case, then fuck off anyway and let the new owner sort it out. Let that new owner flourish that club again. It's not fair.
It's just absolutely devastating for like everyone involved, the fans, the board, the staff. Like, I obviously know the behind the scenes staff very, very well, and they all work incredibly hard. Like, I've never seen people expect so much from like the behind the scenes people, but they literally have at the minute one full-time media person and one volunteer, which is Liam, and they expect so much. And it's like, they're literally only two of them, and one of them works a full-time job. So it's like, if Jason left, then maybe they could afford to get more people in the media department or the comms department, or get more stuff out on social media. But when there's only two of them at the minute, it's incredibly hard. And I just feel like he's not just ruining the club, but he's ruining the behind the scenes, because we could easily get more stuff out there to show the players and showing what they're doing behind the scenes and stuff and recovery. But we can't do that because we just don't have the funds to pay the staff.
Makes me so angry.
I just want him out. Like, as soon as he's like left the club and we have a stable owner, I think we'll feel a lot more positive. But now it just feels like, are we ever going to be sold? Like, that seems to be it at the minute. Like, is he ever?
It's more than Morecambe once he sells that club. it's crazy, isn't it? In 2 years, it's mad.
2 years it's been up for sale, and it seems to be this one owner that he wants to sell with, and this guy cannot pass the fit and proper test. If that doesn't tell you what you need to know, then I don't know what else we're meant to do as fans. We don't want to get to the stage where we're going to have to go on the pitch, or we're going to have to throw things on the pitch, because that's not something the club can afford. Like, I think I can't remember which club it was, but one of their club's fans like ran on the pitch, and it's a 48 grand fine. We haven't got 48 grand. Like, there's not a chance we'd be able to do that. So doing these peaceful protests is exactly what we need to be doing. And I hope that, obviously, on Saturday with Port Vale, it works and it gets the word out there. Because more than now, I think we need to sell before January, or I think we might lose some of our best players.
The thing is as well, like, he must know, because, like, your captain last season, Farron Rawson, He was so brave in coming out and making a statement while he was still at that club, and you could tell he was clearly really passionate about the whole situation. And you lost a hell of a lot of players who loved that club, but they've got bills to pay. Like, that's also not fair. Like, there's people who, I mean, it's a job that so many people want to do, but those people still have bills to pay. Like, you can't just just fuck off.
Yeah, I've never like been so angry at him, because obviously a couple of seasons ago when we got relegated, like, we had 2 players and that was it. That's all we had, and it seems to be that it's going to be like that again next season, and we're going to have like 1 or 2 players, and then it's going to be a load of academy lads, and the academy lads are great, but some of them are just too young to be in the first team, and I just feel like we need to sell so we can offer these players that we've got incredible contracts. Like Tom White, incredible baller, and he deserves everything that he's getting with Morecambe. But if we can't keep him next season, I think he'll go to a bigger team because he deserves it. And it's hard when you've got players that you love that are possibly going to leave because you can't afford to pay them because of an owner that won't sell up. It's so frustrating, and he just doesn't seem to get the gist of it.
I suppose the thing is as well, like, doing those protests, like, he doesn't even fucking bother going. So, I mean, there's probably no point in doing anything more than what you're doing. And like you say, you don't want to harm the club. How do you get the message across if someone is literally just ignoring everybody and everything? Like,
that's it's so frustrating, because obviously he's not bothered. He won't turn up at Morecambe. I mean, he won't dare turn up to the ground. Like, it'd be stupid to turn up. But I just feel like we need to get it out there and try and get media attention on it, because it just seems to be never ending at the minute, and it's just awful.
It's the players I feel really sorry for, to be honest, because the fact is, like you mentioned, about they go into administration, they're going to get deducted 10 points. You mean the 10 points they've earned, is going to take them back down to 0. And what a kick in the bollocks that would be for the players. Thinking they've worked hard to give themselves a fighting chance of staying up in League 2, and that would kill them.
Like, they must be thinking all the time, like, are we going to get paid? Because they've got such a reputation of not paying the wages. Mm-hmm. Like, people are like, have got a right to feel like nervous about it. It's just terrible. He just needs to piss off, and the FA needs to do better. I'm sorry, but the FA needs to take responsibility, because they've allowed that man to buy that football club.
Yeah. That's what really annoys me, that this fit and proper test doesn't seem to work, because how has he been allowed to take over our club and
anything but
run it to the ground, basically? Like, how is that possible?
Is what it is. It's an absolute shambles, and they need to review that, and they need to make sure that people are actually fit and proper.
I think it goes to show as well just how well Derek Adams and the players have done. Like,
Derek Adams is, I don't care how many times he leaves us and comes back, he is one of the most incredible managers. I have never seen a manager that gets so many players together. Like, we were in the Bristol Streets Trophy, and obviously we lost, but he played one of our academy boys, a 16-year-old, against like fully grown adult men, and he proved himself. Like, it's not just about the first team that we've bought, it's about the academy that's coming up. Like, some of them are just incredible in that academy, and I think with everything that Derek Adams has to deal with, he's doing an absolutely amazing job at what he's doing. And I just know the way he talks, he knows that we can survive this league, and if we can survive this league, I'm more than happy with that.
Yeah,
I think, to be honest, it's one of those, if they manage to pull it off and stay up, forget whoever wins League 2 in that, Derek Adams deserves to be Manager of the Year. And that's when they never go for managers who are at the bottom. They always go for the one that wins the league. But when you consider everything that he's having to deal with behind the scenes at the moment and the resources he's got, if he does it, I call that a minor miracle, to be honest with you. But we say about obviously like the EFL, testing everything like that. We keep seeing it. It's still happening. You think like it's happened to Morecambe, it's happened to Swindon, it's happened to Reading, it's happened to Leyton Orient. So, it's so many clubs. Wigan Athletics happened to them as well. So many clubs it's happened to, and it's just what's not changing? Why they're not reviewing it? Because they're clearly not doing enough.
The really good thing is that, it's bad in a way that there's never been anybody that they have to to answer to. But now there's going to be a body in place. Like, if you have a complaint about like something on the telly, you can go to Ofcom or the Ombudsman or whatever, and there's going to be that regulator being put in place.
They need an independent regulator.
Yeah, just have to hope that they force through a review of it, because it's just not okay. Like, we always say football's a game, and at the end of the day it is, but the other bits around side that football, like, they're a livelihood for a lot of people. It's sometimes like the football clubs are like, going to a football match is the only fun thing that some people will get in that week. Even if your team lose, sometimes it's about getting amongst people that you want in the same of. Like, it's not fair on all those people that love that club, love any club. Like, it needs to be sorted, and it needs to be sorted 10 years ago.
Yeah, I just think it's so bad. It's obviously, like, it's not just a club to people. Like, it's your escape from life kind of stuff. So it's like, when you're dealing with this off the pitch, it just makes it 10 times worse. And I know we probably won't win on Saturday. It's Port Vale, the top of the league. Like, it's one of them. But if we can get our like story out there, then that's a win for us, because we need more eyes on it.
But it's not just the players, is it? It's the staff at the club as well. They're affected. It's the businesses around. It's what a successful club can generate with, you know, additional funds coming into the ground, sort of the footfall around, and, you know, all your merch and everything else that goes with it. If your club starts dropping down leagues, then everybody loses a lot. And obviously the fans lose the most. But there's businesses that rely on football clubs. And if a club goes bust or goes into administration, there's probably all those businesses that are owed money that don't get it. And you know, people, that's why a lot of clubs, you'll find that they won't get credit, because there's a worry that suppliers won't get paid, and they'll want the money up front in a lot of the clubs. I mean, Swindon, there's no money in Swindon. God knows where it goes. But, you know, we've gone from gates of 7, 8, 9,000 to less than 5,000 at our last game. And that's a lot of money that you're losing.
Yeah.
A lot of money.
This is where as well, a lot, you know, this is where, like, you know, this is what sort of thing that Tracy Crouch will be looking into, because one of our local MPs down there, she's sort of leading the fan-led review of independent regulator at the moment. And, you know, this was the sort of things that should be taken into account, because she would have seen, she was part, you know, seeing what happened with obviously the National League with the funding fiasco during COVID, and then obviously now seeing the amount of clubs, in particularly in recent years, that have had bad ownerships and everything like that. And like this thing, an independent regulator, I think, would really, you know, help it massively, just to have that extra governing body in place, because if we can't keep relying on the FA and the EFL and, you know, the governing bodies everywhere else in England, because it clearly shows it's clearly not working. You know, something's fundamentally wrong at the moment, and, you know, this may well change it. You never know. That's the thing. You can't knock it before you've even tried it. That's the thing. So I'm hoping it comes in sooner rather than later, because otherwise this is just going to keep on happening, and we're going to be in danger of losing more clubs, you know, historic clubs as well, that are over 100 years old, you know, and mean a lot to, let's say, the communities, you know, of these towns. So, yeah, it's a sad time at the moment. I know we say it mostly, but I really do hope they get it sorted out. And like I say, all you can do is protest, and, you know, hopefully it gets the news out there. But, you know, we'll see what happens on Saturday if Sky Sports go over to it. Breaking news, the fans have, you know, ran onto the pitch and that in the centre circle. So it'd be interesting to see what happens.
But to be honest as well, that's what Sky Sport and the big news providers need to start showing, you know, more footage of this stuff, you know, because, like, without Jen being in the chat, and obviously we know through Jen and our group chat and everything like that, the troubles that are going on in Morecambe. Not many people, I don't think it's a widely known thing in football that Morecambe have got this owner who isn't putting any money in, and this team's struggling. I mean, what's going to happen? Say if the club, you know, does go in administration, what else is going to happen in the sport in terms in town of Morecambe? There's nothing. That's it. You know what I mean? So that's what Sky and BBC and, you know, the big broadcasters, instead of talking about, you know, like Pep Guardiola's lost 3 in a row and all this bollocks. You know what I mean? Let's go to the teams like Morecambe and this, that, and give give them the kind of recognition that they deserve as well, because it takes the clubs like Morecambe, like the Swindons, and like every club to make this football league, to make the whole league the best in the world. You know what I mean? And this is because of clubs like Morecambe as well. You know what I mean? It still lets the country thrive and having a wonderful footballing community and everything, because we have football teams. You know what I mean? It's not just a one-team wonder. You know what I mean? So let's get behind the protest. Obviously, I think we'll all be behind it anyway, and hopefully, the fans do them justice. But why on earth it isn't getting categorized in the media is beyond us. I've got to be honest.
Yeah, I think that's what annoys us the most, because obviously we've got our local like BBC that do it. We've got, I think we had someone from Sky Sports call. I'm not too sure, I can't remember, but we're trying to get it out there and putting it out on Twitter and stuff, and tagging like Top Sport, Sky Sports, BBC, like people like that we need to talk about it, because if they start talking about it, then more people are going to see it and be like, oh, let's have a look what's going on at Morecambe, what's going on down there. But it's like, it's just in the inner circle and no one really knows about it, apart from fans and obviously you guys and stuff like that. So it's just, it feels like it's not really getting out there as much as it should be.
But it's a good weekend to do it.
Sorry, mate. I remember a few years ago now, for another podcast I work for, we had Keith Downey, who's the North East football reporter. And Keith Downey, historically on Twitter, never used to report about Sunderland when we were in League One, like never. And he used to say that because Sky Sports are that interested in the Premier League, he has to fight like tooth and nail just to get Sunderland kind of, a little bit of notoriety in the Football League. And it's turned into like a long-standing thing where Sunderland fans think he's a mag. He's not, he's sport art. But I think that's also the term with Sky Sports News and the bigger like kind of news stations. That if it's not the Premier League, they don't seem to give a shit, which I think is completely wrong.
Yeah.
But this weekend's a good one because there's no Prem games.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that's why they decided to do it this weekend, because obviously there'll be more eyes on the lower leagues, because obviously there's no Premier League this weekend. So I think, and it's against like a top team as well. So it's like, obviously it would have been good to be on TV and do it, but
that was going to be my next question. Is it on telly?
Obviously, on TV, but I think if we get it out there and people obviously going to be recording and taking photos and stuff like that, and the Port Vale fans will probably do some bits as well. So I think just getting it out there this weekend is what we need to do, and hopefully it does something, and the club can get back to normal as soon as possible.
Fingers crossed.
Please let us know if there's anything we can do, or if there's anything we can share. Obviously, I'll clip this as well. We'll put it out, even if it's one of them special episodes Sam does, the clips, we'll put that out. But just one thing I want to say, Jen, is don't give up, because it's like when Rochdale were going through them things, and as much as people were trying to promote it, we felt exactly the same. And just keep using your voice on these platforms, because it's surprising who actually does see it. And honestly, I spoke about it every single week, getting it out there, and like I said, it's surprising. So just don't give up.
No, never. Honestly, I love this club too much that I can't. I won't give up ever. Once we get that new one, then we can all go out and have a party and get absolutely
party at Morecambe.
I think it tends to show as well, all the people out in the surrounding areas and stuff like that. If you are listening to this podcast and you're not doing anything on Saturday, go to this protest and, protest for all the Morecambe fans and for the local community as well, because the local community needs his football team. It's like I say, it's a small town and, in Northern Britain, you know what I mean? It needs its football team, the fans need the football team. So, if you're not doing anything, or even if, you're listening to this and you want to go along, I'm sure we'll put it on where you can go this, that and the other, but go and help out. Even if you just stand outside the stadium, just help out, you know what I mean? So, yeah. I would love to come down, but I'm otherwise engaged on Saturday. So I would love to have come down, you know what I mean? But if you can and you live local, get it done, you know what I mean? Support the football club.
Yeah.
Even if you're a fan and you haven't been for a while and you're against the ownership, that's fair enough, you know what I mean? I stopped going to watch Sunderland because I was against the ownership a few years ago, you know what I mean? We got rid of him, you know what I mean? But I stopped going. And, even if you have stopped going, go outside the ground and just take part in the protest. You don't have to watch the game.
No, definitely not. Because I think they're going to the pub first, and then from the pub we're marching down towards the ground. So even if you don't want to go in and watch the game, then you're more than welcome to like go and march with all of us that are going. Like it's not just turn up at the ground; it's a full day experience that's going to be happening. And I really just hope it gets the word out there and it can be sorted as soon as possible.
100%.
Even as well, if there's anybody in the chat who have any contacts, even if it's not local to Morecambe, any journalists, anything like that, just tag them in tweets, just keep spreading the word out. And obviously, if you see any of Jen's tweets or Morecambe's tweets, just keep resharing them, because honestly, as I keep saying, it's so surprising who does come across them. Really is surprising.